Yes, that's right. Hey there, everybody. What's up? It is the CBC Wizdumb Hour, episode number 137 for Thursday, May 13th, 2021. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
What's up, everybody? Tony B coming to you from New Jersey. It's happening.
Yes, we missed last week because of streaming issues on my part.
Yes, technical difficulties.
Yes. So I went and bought an Ethernet cable, and now we should be rock solid.
Golden.
Yes. How's it going?
It's going good.
Very good. We were just talking about tuba prices before we started.
Tubas. Yeah, I had no idea that a tuba cost $14,000 for a mini tuba.
What is a mini tuba?
It's not like the full-blown giant tuba like you see a marching band. You know,
right.
Like an upright tuba where you're actually carrying it, and the bell is, I think, 36 inches. This is like a 30-inch maybe, and it's a little bit more compact looking. But it was a beautiful looking instrument. I saw a special on TV about it. But tubas range between like $10,000 and $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So the $14,000 tuba, the guy who was talking about it was a student at Juilliard, and he had just bought it, as a freshman, saved all his money for however long it took him to save $14,000, and then he went out and bought a tuba.
Wow. I'm curious what compels somebody to want to spend that much money on an instrument and want to have to carry around this big freaking instrument.
Well, I guess if you want to be like, an orchestral, musician, and that's your goal in life, and that's your major, and you play tuba, it's no different than investing, money in an instrument, right?
Yeah.
You can think about like the most expensive bass you can buy, or, even drum sets. You can buy a 5-piece drum set for $10,000, easily.
Right. I would stick with the piccolo in the orchestra.
Harmonica.
Triangle.
Cheapest way. Yeah, triangles are good too.
Triangle. That's all by itself. It's its own category. Triangle. It's not even in the
triangle solo.
You ever see that meme? There's a guy who has a blender, or not a blender, a mixer, like one of those handheld mixers, and it's got three little thing you would use to beat eggs.
Okay, like a whisk.
Yeah, like and he's got holding up the triangle. He's looking at this chart of like all these thousands of notes, and he's just holding the mixer and the triangle.
The hand blender. Yeah. Excellent. I'm gonna try that actually after we hang up.
Hey man, just be careful, because that could be dangerous. Wear goggles if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, definitely shrapnel and shards of chrome could be peeling off that thing. You never know.
Yeah, the whole thing could fall apart, and there could be chaos. So,
but maybe I have a $7,000 triangle, and it's custom made, and it's not going to do that. Maybe
I wonder.
A $50 triangle might shed the chrome, but a real one that's going to be polished.
I wonder what the most expensive triangle you can get is.
I don't know. I'm sure several $100s for like a real.
You think that's
orchestral. Yeah, I don't think they're thousands of dollars. I mean, I don't think they come chromatically tuned or anything. A triangle's, different sizes give you different pitches, but
what if it's made of gold?
I don't know how it would sound.
Me neither.
It's usually made of an alloy of some sort, like an aluminum or some kind of secret combination of metals, like a cymbal would be made out of.
Right. It's worth looking into. So,
George, make a note of that, please, that we need to investigate triangles.
I'm glad George is back.
He's on it. George is good. Yeah, he's on
it. So if you're watching this out there live right now, it'll say live. If it doesn't say live, it's not live, and you're watching the replay. But feel free to comment, ask us questions.
It's not live, correct.
Right. Feel free to comment, ask us questions. Click on that link in the description that allows StreamYard to show your name. That's all it does. It doesn't take your information.
Just give me 1 second. I have to adjust my light over here. Hang on.
Which light? Where are you going? Wait a second. You can't do this. This is live. I just was explaining to the audience that this is live, and then he gets up. And now he didn't even hear what I said, right?
No, my lighting guy called in sick, so I can't just direct him to do it. I had to go.
And I saw no difference in anything you did.
That's good. That means it worked.
That makes no sense. All right, somebody said, hey, live. I don't know who you are. It's this Facebook user. You have to let StreamYard show your name by clicking that link in the description.
Yes, click away.
Yes. Man, I guess there's a lot to talk about and stuff. But first of all, publicly condolences to Karen and you and your whole family for
Thank you.
loss of her father.
Yeah, my father-in-law passed away on Tuesday, which ironically was 1 year to the day that um, my best friend Tom McNeil, bass player I played with for 15 years, had passed away.
Oh wow.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah. Same day. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
even more
it's
interesting, Steve, is that my youngest son was born at 5'11", and my oldest son was born at 11'11", and my father-in-law passed away on 5'11" at 11'11".
really 1111 is a lucky,
Yes.
not the time, it's a lucky number.
Yeah.
So good. He's off
So
to paradise.
he is. He is. God rest his soul. He's now at peace.
Yeah. And still here at the same time.
Thank you. Yeah,
So,
of course.
um, yeah, losing people is I've lost two drummer friends this year, and I talked to Matt. You remember Matt? I don't know if you ever met him. It's the singer in Mad Rabbit, which was a cover band I was in Jersey. Did
I
you
don't think
ever?
so.
Yeah, I don't think you ever saw Mad Rabbit.
No.
But I was playing with them a little bit before I played with you. So I think, yeah, by the time I was playing with you, I think we were done with that. But Matt, I've known him for a long time, and we talked on the phone last night for like 2 hours. And Matt is an incredible singer. He's his personality is very upbeat. Let's say he's high strung.
And what's he doing now? Is he still singing?
He's singing here and there. He was doing wedding bands for a while, but he's not doing much. But he's been doing some other work.
Cool.
But I'm trying to talk him into coming down here and jamming with me because we only have so much time here, and
This is true.
and windows open and close, and while this window that I have right now is open, where I have a place where where people could come down, they could stay with me, and I'm working at the best club on Bourbon Street, and I can have people come up and sit in and sing or whatever. And I mean, I'm really lucky and blessed to have that opportunity now, because pre-COVID I was playing, but I wasn't playing at Famous Store. Famous Store is the room you want to play in on Bourbon Street.
Oh yeah.
And so, it's only been a month, and who knows how long it will last. Last time I played there, it lasted about a year. It was a little less than a year. So you never know what can happen.
One never can tell, Steve, can they? It could be a week, it could be a year, a month, it could be a year,
it could be 10
a day,
years.
it could be forever.
But I want my friends, especially my talented musician friends, to be able to experience what I've been lucky enough to experience here, just for a little bit, just for a second, for a couple songs, to get up on stage here with these players and with this vibe and in that room, and share the joy that I'm feeling with the people that I love. So. So I think I got him. I think I got him to. He didn't commit yet, but I'm gonna nudge him. I'm gonna stay on him every couple of days. I'm gonna send him a text. Did you make your plan yet?
Book your flight. You coming down?
Let's go. Let's go. He said he's got money. He can do it. So
hey, man, that's it.
There's no excuse. And then my other friend Dominic, guitar player, amazing guitar player, one of the best guitar players I've ever played with in my life. And Keith, sorry. I got to show Keith's comment. Keith says, okay, how about now? That's better. Keith knows who I'm talking about. Keith is a musician in Jersey too, singer and guitar player, and fantastic talent. And Keith has been down here in New Orleans and has gotten up and jammed with me. So he can attest to that. But that was at the Swamp. And you jammed with me at the Swamp too.
Yes, I did. But we went to Famous Store afterwards and hung out.
We did. Okay. That's the room. That's the one. It sounds great on stage. It's a great view from the stage. And Keith said yes. So my other friend Dominic is coming down, this guitar player, because he was living at Joey's, and Joey's the other drummer that passed away. Mm-hmm. And so he's got a split, and he was thinking about moving down south. And he said maybe Austin, and I said, why not consider New Orleans, dude? I mean, somebody here, and I can introduce you to lots of people. He wants to do sound. And there's really a lack of really good sound men down here. There's
And
a
judging from the way the
there's a
soundmen
dirt.
down there operate, they just, they set everything and then they leave. So
Yes.
he could theoretically be doing sound at a couple of different venues and then go to a third venue and sing and be in the band all night and get paid to do sound elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, he plays guitar, so he's when
You
he's
know?
singing. But
Okay, so then he can play guitar. Listen, anything can happen in New Orleans, Steve. Maybe he's an aspiring singer, and maybe he'll be able to sing when he gets there. Who knows?
probably not. But he definitely wants to do sound too, and he's a brilliant musician. Um, and he's coming down. He said within a few weeks, so I'll know that soon.
Okay.
But the thing I want to emphasize, and I've said this before, but about New Orleans is if you're a good musician and you want to work for a living playing music, this is a great place to be, especially now, especially with things opening back up, because people have left the city. Some people have just kind of given up on the whole Bourbon Street thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you just have to be here and you have to be good and you have to be cool, That's it.
That's a given, man. No one wants to play with uncool people.
Yeah. So I like that I have this opportunity to help other people out. So if I can get Dominic some work doing sound or playing that.
Well, that's huge. Think about
Right.
that. You're offering almost like a experience. You should be like Travelocity. You should be like, you come down with Steve and come experience the life of a musician on Bourbon Street.
That's not a bad idea.
For $9.99. I mean, how can you beat it?
$999.
Yes, and you have to get yourself there to and from, and for $9.99, you'll lodge them for a couple days, and you'll afford them the opportunity to sit in, on the stage of the famous tour.
That's not a bad idea. Actually, for a business idea.
That's it,
I would just need the building.
You just tell your band, like, hey, I got different musicians coming in for the next 6 weeks on rotation.
Well, if they get a percentage of that $9.99, then they'll be like, okay.
Yeah, correct. But I mean, they have to do something to earn that money, right? I mean, they can't just be the band and show up and get paid.
Well,
they're already getting paid.
Keith was in it for
$10, man. Who could
for
beat that,
$9.99?
right? Yeah,
right, $9.99. That's a
you can run
bargain.
specials. You could be like $99 today only in the next 5 minutes. Call this number,
dude. We've been doing the Freebird thing because if somebody shouts Freebird, which pretty much happens every night,
I'm sure.
Freebird's $100. It's on sale for $100, and just about every time we say that, somebody comes up with $100 and we play it.
Really?
Just about every time, because there's always people in there that have money.
But is it the $100 because you guys don't want to play it, or is it just the opportunity because
because it's the joke, it's the play Freebird, everybody says that. So we just started. I was saying it's $1,000, but it's on sale now for $500.
Yeah, I don't know if you had any takers on that.
But Tracy said it's normally $500, but it's on sale for $100.
Yeah, and you get takers for that for sure.
Yeah, somebody almost every time.
And it's funny. I remember playing a gig one time at a yacht club, right, for a 4th of July weekend.
Yeah,
and we played the gig, and this woman came up and she wanted to hear Leonard Skinner. Don't care what song, and we would do Sweet Home Alabama, right? And so, Steve didn't want to do it or something, and this guy came up with a $100 bill and handed it to Shuley and said, whatever song you're about to play next, you're now going to play Sweet Home Alabama. Thank you, and walked away. And we played it.
Of course, you better play it.
Same thing, $100 bill. He was an older Southern gentleman, and he was with that woman, and he came up and no qualms about it. Here's $100, boys. This is what I want to hear.
Right. That's awesome. That happens to us almost every night we play. We get somebody that gives us $100, not necessarily for Skinner, but for something.
Sure.
And that's why
just for looking good and being on stage at the famous door. What more could what else?
Well, that's one of the reasons why the famous door is cool, because of the people that come there, because of its location, its proximity to Canal Street and proximity to other hotels, and people tend to, towards the end of the night, more walk towards that area.
Stumble towards famous door.
Skip towards and dance toward. towards.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the night they're stumbling, and the money is freely leaving their pockets for whatever it is they desire to hear.
Right. And there's people, New Orleans is a major US city. There's people that come here that are business people, that are people that come here that are very successful in life and have a lot of money, and they carry it with them.
You know what's great about people that have a lot of money, especially when you're playing a party for them, or if they've hired the band. Like I remember we played a party one time, and the guy was like, "You have to start at 5 o'clock. Like my guests are coming between 5 and 5:30, and it's an earlier party." And it was college themed, and he had a giant garbage can full of um, grain alcohol punch, and I mean a brand new 50, big hefty garbage can filled to the top, like people just walking by with their cups and scooping out and drinking. So we start playing at 5, 6, 7. Nobody's here yet.
Oh,
Guy just rolls up, peels off $500. Just keep going, boys. Okay, keep going. 8 o'clock, people start rolling in. By 9 o'clock, it's starting to get going.
oh boy. You're 4 hours in now.
Here's another $500, boys. Just keep on going.
Did you take a break at all, or you just kept?
Yeah, no, we took a break,
Okay.
but we were only playing originally from like 5 to 9. You know what I mean? And
Right,
he,
right.
he just kept 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Here you go, boys. Keep on going. Now Steve's running a marathon the next day. He's running a New York City marathon. So
Oh,
he's
wow.
like, dude, he's like, I don't care if the guy gives us another $1,000. Like, this is it. Like, I gotta go. Like after the set, we're done. Like 11:45, here comes the dude again. And all of a sudden, boop, there's a police officer with the flashlight. Okay, that's it. Shut down. No more band. So she's like, bye. Wraps it all up. But, the guy just kept coming over and just was like, more money, more money, more money. Like, just keep going, guys. Just keep playing. People are having a good time now. The party's just getting going. So if the police hadn't come and Steve didn't have to leave, that could have been like a 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
exhausted every song that the band knows, and now you're, taking requests and just, muddling your way through them.
Or
You
just
know,
playing the same songs over again.
yeah,
What
that's
choice you
right from the
have?
first set from 6
Right.
hours ago.
They won't remember. There was nobody there.
Right. And then the highlight of the party too is everyone's getting annihilated drunk around 10 o'clock, and they're starting to have like frat boy college, like chest pumping and I'm stronger than you and let's wrestle. And they knocked over the 55-gallon drum of green alcohol punch
Oh my God.
onto the guy's patio.
Good sound effects.
Oh yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Wow.
And thankfully it was the opposite direction of where the band was, because it would have flooded the
Oh
band
no.
area. Oh yeah, it would
Yeah.
have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Pedal
had that happen
boards.
too. We played a gig one time, and the guy had the keg behind the band, and it was like pitched down to this flat, and the thing he had it in was leaking, and everyone that was getting the beer was like spilling on the ground, and it was like a beer river running right through my drum set. So at the end of the night, I just rolled up the gig rug and I left it at the curb at the guy's house. I'm like, dude, the garbage man can take this away. Like, I'm not putting this in my car.
The beer river.
Yeah, it was a beer river.
That's great. Good
So
stuff.
good times, I'm sure you have no beer rivers flowing in the famous door. Probably
Not
beyond that.
not that I'm aware of. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough. I'm very fortunate to have this job. I love the band. I love that room. I love everything about it. That being said, though, last weekend, I was exhausted, man. It is exhausting. It is really, you have to, I need to get in better shape. So we need to talk about that. Get your advice on that. Because it's
on getting in better shape. Oh yeah,
and just being able to do this, because it's 2 hours and 15 minutes straight, then a half-hour break, or sometimes a 15-minute break, and then another 2 hours and 15 minutes straight. So 4.5 hours on your feet playing your instrument, or sitting down if you're a drummer. And it's by Sunday, my whole body was aching, and I considered it like 10 times on Sunday, like, I gotta call Tracy and tell her to get a sub for tonight. And yeah, I didn't. I sucked it up, and I went, and it was fine. But it's exhausting.
That's good, because the physicality of drumming, that's a big thing in a lot of drumming forms. Is like, if you're a touring drummer, how do you stay in shape, and how do you endure to play, that many gigs back to back for, a year straight. And and a lot of these guys are, it's diet and they're stretching or they're doing yoga or they're meditating or they're working out and they're just being limber and they're just, I remember Steve Smith from Journey saying, it's a lot different now going on tour with Journey when I'm almost 70 than it was when I was in my 20s, where you just had the energy and the stamina every night. And you were so excited to play and you just went out and did whatever you did and you were out to eat and drinking and doing whatever you want. And no one's to think about exercising, or being healthy, but for the longevity of it, as you get older, you definitely have to take care of yourself. And, the better physical shape you're in, the better you'll play. And I mean, the main thing with drummers is posture. If you sit up straight and play, your windpipe's nice and open, your back is straight. If sitting slumped over, you're already at a disadvantage because you're cutting off your air intake. And the oxygen's probably the most important thing you need as a drummer.
Right. Yeah. As I give drummers a lot of credit because it's if you get too tired playing drums, then it's going to show up in your tempo. You're going to start dragging.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's also technique. You know what I mean? If you have good foundation and you're using proper technique, it's effortless to play for hours. You're really not straining and struggling yourself, to where it's a burden, to where you're physically would be tired.
right.
It shouldn't be that way. And if you find yourself physically exhausted after playing a gig, then you might want to reevaluate your technique, because maybe you're playing all arms, or maybe you're not using, the right motion, letting the sticks do the work, So there's a
Right.
lot of other tricks you can use to that too. You can cut down your fatigue by playing with good technique, and understanding your volume. You don't need to play at stadium volume if you're in a club and if you're mic'd,
Right.
you can be, if you have a good monitor, it's like singing. If you have a crappy monitor, you're going to be yelling. If you have in-ears or a good monitor system, you can actually sing and hear yourself and you don't feel like you're struggling,
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that go into it,
Yeah. That makes a difference. I'm doing a lot of singing in this band, and um, I love it. I love singing, but that's definitely part of what just because I put my whole body is involved. I'm playing bass and I'm breathing, singing, um, and it's great. And there were a couple songs this weekend, and this has happened before, but there were a couple songs this weekend that we got a request for. Nobody in the band knows it, but it's within my range. So Tracy always looks at me, Steve, can you sing this? And I always like, okay, like a song that I've never sung before.
And where do you pull the lyrics up from? Does Tracy bring it up on an iPad?
Well, that's what I was going to lead to. She brings it up on her phone, and then she'll put it in front of me, and I have to I'm playing bass, and I have to read the lyrics, and I also have to get my finger up there and scroll it. Dude, it's wait, that and plus trying to swing a hula hoop around my foot.
There you go.
And I'm able to do it, but that was
Can you get video of that? The hula hoop? I want to see the hula hoop. Yeah, I like to see that.
I'll ask somebody next time to film it.
Because full size hula hoop, you'd have to actually skip. You'd have to jump over it as it spins on your foot. So that would be interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I don't recommend it. Anybody try it at
challenging,
home.
not dangerous, Steve. It's just challenging.
Well, I'm just saying, don't try this at home.
I'm asking you to do it with a flaming shot in your hand or something.
No, but that would make it more exciting, wouldn't it?
Definitely would. And maybe juggling. Could you juggle with one hand? Could you play the notes on the neck like I've seen people do, and then do a juggling act with one hand? Maybe. Come on, drummers twirl sticks. They throw them up in the air, catch them and stuff. There's got to be some kind of magic show involved.
I could twirl a stick.
But you're not a drummer. That doesn't really help your cause unless you twirl a stick as you're playing bass. That might be pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I could use the stick on my bass to play my bass.
Yes, like Tony Levin. Excellent.
Right.
I like that.
So I bought and I didn't get it yet. It's supposed to be coming today. A tablet because my old iPad crapped out on me. It doesn't charge anymore. I don't know why. So I bought a new tablet, like a cheaper one, just a small one that I can use just exclusively for that.
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm going to load it up with the songs that I just did recently that I would need the words for.
Clips on the mic stand, right?
Yes, but that's the other thing about this. This is cool. Somebody left a clip there, a clip for your phone on my mic stand. Whoever's in the day band left it there, so we used that when Tracy put her, her phone on that, and it was a good clip. It was a good sturdy one. It's one I had never used before, and I looked at it. I'm like, and I took a picture of it because I wanted to make sure I remember that brand, because I'm starting to, with CBC, I'm starting to reach out to the big companies, the big players in the music industry, because now we have over 250,000 followers, and it's going to benefit that audience and also benefit those companies.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm trying to reach out to as many as I can, and so I reached out to that company, and they're sending me a free clip from my new tablet. I told him what I got. I got a 7-inch tablet, and he's going to send me one because I told him I work on Bourbon Street. I also have Cover Band Central, and this is a good opportunity for me to use your product and tell my audience about it.
Promote it, yeah, and you can say how great it is.
Yeah, and so we worked out an affiliate agreement, and I'm going to do that. As soon as I get it, I'm going to use it, and I'm going to do a little video, quick video, filming it of me using it, or of just how it works, and pictures and stuff, and then go in and tell the audience about it. I really like the one for the phone, so I hope that the one for the tablet is just as good. So
nice,
we'll
yeah.
So that was a long way to get to that thing that I wanted to tell you.
Hey, but it just goes to show you, the opportunities are out there. Like you said, once you have an established platform, with a bunch of viewers, right, and a good audience, there's opportunity for you to review products and get endorsed by products, and
Yeah,
promote the products and actually try them out in real world environment and see how they
right.
see how they stand up.
Right. Donna asked, could I let her know what the clip is? Her eyesight is failing. She needs a tablet. I will, Donna. Just stay tuned to this and to all things Cover Band Central. I don't want to jump the gun here. I want to make sure I get it and get everything all set up properly with this company before I go touting it. But I've teased it here.
Yes, you planted the seed, Steve.
Yes.
Well, hey, I've got 10 gigs over the summer now, so I'm very excited about that. Yeah. Good stuff.
This is pretty cool. Pat said, my friends rigged a PC inside a monitor wedge, and it has a foot switch to scroll through lyrics in giant fonts. It's pretty sick because no one can see the screen from the audience, but the whole band can see the lyrics. That is super cool.
That's super slick, Pat. That's like very professional. That's like the big boys.
Pat, your friends should patent that and sell it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's one of the complaints that people have in this industry and in the CBC group is people having tablets on stage, people reading lyrics on stage, people complain about it. Sometimes it's necessary. Sorry, that's just the reality of it. The big boys use it, and we've talked about that before. But I'm excited for that because I really do like singing, and I'd like to increase my catalog of songs that I.
But let me ask you, if you've sang a song 100 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I might sing 20 songs. I've never used a tablet. Like if I'm singing the song, I know the lyrics. Like if you sung the song so many times, I don't know how you wouldn't be able to remember the words.
Well, yeah,
I'm not a singer per se, but if that's your craft, I certainly don't have a chart up for 75 songs to play drums. You know what I mean? So I kind of on the fence about that too, to say if it's a request and you don't know it, yeah, I could see you saying no problem. Let me put the tablet up and let me quickly bring up the lyrics. But if it's a song you've sang like, in your regular set, day after day, week after week, like I just don't understand why you would need a tablet.
I wouldn't for songs that I've sung over and over again.
But so many people do. I'm just saying, like, I just don't understand. Maybe like, I know someone like, if you have hundreds or thousands of songs in your repertoire, of course you can't remember all of them. But you know what I mean? If you're playing with the same group day in and day out, and you're pretty much playing the same songs in the same set, I just I don't get it sometimes.
Yeah, you should know the words. Anything I've sung 100 times, I know the words, obviously.
I mean, there'll always be the brain fart where you say, what's that line again? Like, how's it start?
Yeah.
Then, okay, now I remember, right.
I have little tricks though for songs that I've sung forever that help me to remember. They're still like I sing "Sweet Home Alabama" all the time, almost every night, and sometimes I have to stop and think about what's the next verse. but I have some little reference that I can remember that lets me know what that next verse is. And it's hard to explain it, but there's just some little click.
And you've never said Sweet Home Minnesota, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then you're good. You're good. You passed the test. You don't need an iPad, Steve. Send
Right.
that tablet back.
All right. So Pat says he sang "Come Together" live 1,000 times, and he can't sing it without screwing up the order of the verses.
Hence the computer monitor trick in his
Right.
arsenal right there.
Yeah. The way I do this, Pat, and he says it again here. He can remember lyrics, but the order. I always think alphabetically. That's how I think. Like whatever the first word of that next verse is, whatever letter it starts with, I relate it to alphabetically to the other verses.
It can also be some songs are a story, so there's a sequence to the lyrics telling the story, right? So you know if the sequence of events happens, then
Right.
you know where you are.
Right. Kryptonite's one I have sung probably 1,000 times. And the second verse, I always remember it because it's one of my favorite verses to sing, like of any song. So I always look forward to coming to that verse. And the beginning of it is always just simple. I'm just talking about songs that I've sung 1,000 times. I wouldn't need to read the lyrics, but I was asked to sing "Turn the Page" by Bob Seger this weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
And I could get range-wise, I can get through most of it until the end when Bob Seger kind of goes up there. I don't really hit those notes. But I knew, I know the structure of the song. I know the rhythm of the lyrics. I just don't really know the words. But as soon as I see it, like I'll know how it goes. Like on a long and distant highway east of Omaha. I'll know the rhythm of the words. But I definitely needed the words. There was no way I was doing that without the words. I would have been like, could you turn the page?
No, it's not a song I sing, but if I was asked to sing it, yeah, I would need to see the words. I
Right.
wouldn't know it offhand like that. Right.
Right. So that's why I want to have this for things like that and put that and try to add that to my repertoire of songs that I know.
But the question is, will you have that up on your stand all night?
The iPad or the tablet?
The tablet.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I'm going to put it, I'm secure it to that thing, the clip that I'm getting, and it will be there. So it'll be a fixture of the mic stand, but not right in my face, not where it's, impairing my performing or
you don't have an arm that comes out over the top that's like right here. You just like look up at it when you need to. That'd be good.
That would be good. No, just down
and send a picture of that, even better.
Inconspicuous down, just to peek at it. I'm not going to be staring at it like just
or
to
if
peek.
You had it like right on the stand. You're like this thinking like just like that. That would be good.
That's funny. I like that.
We need a picture of that for Cover Band Central. What not
they
to
would
do.
love it.
What not to do at a gig.
I could do a video of that too. That would be fun.
You could. But it would have to be live. You couldn't like just set it up in your studio and
yes, I can.
do like an impromptu photo shoot. It has to be like live, like in front of people with crowd in the background, so that's authentic.
Well, I could do it as
just like gauge the reaction to see if people come up and they're like, "Are you a dope?" or people like, "That's cool, man."
That's cool.
Yeah, you never know. What people think, dude. You might be onto something, Steve. Maybe you could like wear a hat like you have, and off the front of the brim of the hat, have it flip down. Have a little flip like your flip phone, so you can just flip it off your visor, and then when you're done, just flip it up. So on the songs you don't need it, it's just out there, and then when you're ready, you just flip it down.
That's another good invention there, Tony.
I'm full of them, man. Right? Yeah, I see you writing that down.
No, but Keith said 10 minutes 10 minutes between songs swiping to find the words. Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about that part of it. But here's the thing, Famous Store.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing that.
No, Famous Store, a lot of the standard rules go out the window because Famous Store is like people come in there and they stay. They stay all night. So even if you have some dead air between songs, you've made a connection with the crowd, with the songs, And Tracy's fantastic at connecting to the crowd as a front person. And
So you think it's a little looser and less regimented as far as a structure of putting on a show, and it's more like a
yes,
hang?
yes, yeah. We don't do song, 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 song in that. Like we don't even do song, song. We do song, stop, song, stop. You know, everyone, and that's perfect for that room. You know, it's just the nature of that room.
Yeah, and we've talked about that in the past too. You know, you have to dictate your strategy of how you're going to perform based on the room you're playing in, or the event, or what's expected. You know.
Right. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, and what was the other one? There was 3 a.m. 3 a.m. by Matchbox 20, and I have sung that before when I was in a band in Jersey. Concrete Donkeys. No, was it Concrete Donkeys? I think. Or no, it was Sit Ubu Sit.
Sit Ubu Sit.
Sit Ubu Sit was the name of the
Uh-huh.
band, and I sang 3 a.m. and I used to have the printed lyrics for that way back then, but then I eventually learned it, and it's been so long, so I didn't remember. Like I could probably come close to getting through it without the lyrics, but I brought those lyrics up to you on the phone and sang that. So that's another one I want to put on there and just sing it a couple times with reading the lyrics. That'll be my rehearsal, basically, playing it at the club and learning it to the point where I don't need to look at the words anymore.
It has an ambitious goal, Steve. Very good.
Hey, you know, I can't let my band down. If they ask me to sing a song, American Girl was another one that I needed the words for. And I sang that one too. They ask a lot of me in this band.
They wouldn't ask a lot, Steve, if they didn't know that you could deliver, you know?
Either that or I'm just the only one on stage that's
Gotta
willing.
ask big, dude. Gotta ask big. Someone was telling me a story that Shaquille O'Neal was in a restaurant by himself. He ordered like a $50 or $60 meal. And at the end of the meal, when the waiter came back, he said to the guy, "Well, what do you want me to tip you?" And the guy said, "How about $4,000?" And Shaq said, "Done," and gave him a $4,000 tip on a $60 meal. And he told
And the
him,
guy was probably like, I should have asked for more.
if you don't ask, you won't get. That's why
Agreed.
he said, "That's why I asked you." Now, I don't know if he would have said, to $20,000, if he would have given him a $20,000 tip. They might have been like insulted or rude. But I've also heard that Shaq is notorious for being in a jewelry store and seeing a couple, picking out an engagement ring and telling the guy, "Put that on my tab." Like when they go to put it on layaway, tell him it's already paid for.
That's great.
And
What if he
failing.
said, so what if the guy said $1 million? What do you want me to tip you? $1 million. What do you think you would have said?
Don't know.
Let me see. I'm going to look up
But if I get the opportunity, I'll ask him.
Shaquille O'Neal's net worth, according to Google, is $400 million.
Right. So $20,000 is like $20.
Nothing. Yes.
It's like $20. Seriously.
So I would say, yeah, realistically, I would say $100,000 is what I want you to tip. And Shaq might have been done.
Maybe. Who knows, right?
$100,000. Why not?
What a story that would be. Or he might stand up and punch you and say you're a rude a-hole trying to take advantage of my good nature. Unless the guy was explaining like, I need a kidney and it's going to go towards this, and I really need the money for X, Y, and Z. I'm not just asking you to be a dick, because I know you have a lot of money and I'm trying to get some. Maybe the guy legit, needs it for something,
Right. But you know that guy was kicking himself saying, I could ask for more than 4,000.
Hey, it's 4,000 more than he had when he came to work that day. So you got to look at it that way too.
That's true.
Can never second guess yourself.
And where was this? Where?
I don't know what restaurant it was.
Because that seems like rare that you'd be in a restaurant and Shaquille O'Neal would walk in. Unless you're in some town where he lives.
This is where he lives. Maybe I think he lives in LA. So maybe he's in a place in LA having, maybe he's at Burger King having a Whopper.
We are not sponsored by Burger King, by the way.
Maybe he's at a fast food establishment eating an unhealthy meal.
Yes, a generic hamburger.
Yes, there you go.
We're gonna have to bleep that out
You're
now.
not endorsed by hamburgers either, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Oh,
But I'm
Steve,
gonna
bleep it
start.
out.
I'm gonna start getting sponsors for this show too.
Are you?
That's yeah. Well, that's part of the deal. So that with the clip thing.
Jimmy, work on the censorship, okay? You got to be ahead of me on those things. Sorry, he wasn't fast enough with the button.
What happened to George?
George is the light guy. He doesn't do sound.
All right. They're awfully quiet back there. That's right.
Get it together, Steve. I don't have that many people working here.
All right. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
You were going to say sponsors, endorsers.
Yes, endorsements
See?
for the show. We're going to be sponsored here by companies that are beneficial to you guys in this audience. I'm not going to steer anybody wrong. I'm going to make sure I get some quality stuff to pass along to you.
So
good deals.
No adult diapers or
not yet.
Things of that nature, right?
Soon, not yet.
Okay.
Robert,
you never know, man. Robert Greibel.
He said, "How's it going? I hope all is well. Everything is well.
Everything is excellent. If it was doing any better, there'd be an investigation."
Right. So I played this for you before we started, but I want to.
Yes, your weekly theme songs. Love it. Let's go. Let's see it.
I want to play them again, and I want some feedback from the audience. So, in case anybody doesn't know, I'm doing these Monday through Friday, doing a quick, like 10, 12, 15 minute at the most live video, just like this, but it's just me and picking a topic for the day. And I'm doing it at 12 o'clock Central, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time and 10 a.m. Pacific. And each day has a theme, alliterative theme. Motivation Monday, Tribute Tuesday, whatever Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, and Funky Friday. And me and my buddy Jeff have written music themes for 2 of them so far. And I made a video with the graphics, for the intro for the show, just like we have for this show, but similar. But I spent very little time on this. If anybody out there is a graphic designer or likes to do things like this, make little quick videos, reach out to me. I'll put up my email, steve@coverbandcentral.com, and let me know. And I don't really have much of a budget, so if anybody wants to just volunteer and do that, feel free.
You'll get credit for it on the air.
You'll get credit for it. I will promote whatever you want me to promote for you. But these are the ones that I have made, and I'm sure somebody can make better ones. The music we're good with, but it's the graphics. So we do. Which one should I play first? I'm going to play Funky Friday first. Funky Friday is the first one we did, and it's 13 seconds long, and this is how it goes. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. All right, so
tune in tomorrow for Funky Friday.
Funky Friday will be tomorrow, 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. But I could probably do better than that, right? With those, just the words.
Hey, man, whatever works. It's how much time you have to dedicate to it, right? If it gets the job done, go with it. If you want to spend, 5 hours of your life creating a better Funky Friday thing that's going to go by in 13 seconds, then have at it. But I guess it's all how much you value your time, Steve.
Well, and how much I value the fact that I'm going to be using this over and over again.
Yeah, but it can evolve. You can make it better. You can, as you go. That's good to start. Get it out there and get going.
That's good enough to start, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then there's Motivation Monday, and this is how this goes.
Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday. It's motivation time.
I really like that one.
I like the double time, kicking it into motivation.
Yes, and I did all of this in GarageBand. I programmed the drums there, and then I played the bass, played the actual bass parts, and played keyboard parts. And that one, I was telling you before, there's so many tracks on that.
Oh yeah,
so many separate tracks, like vocal tracks and instrument tracks on there. It's loaded, but it's so much fun playing in GarageBand.
Oh, GarageBand is great, especially like on a fly. Like I used to goof. We would use it at work, like at lunchtime in the parking lot. Like someone would call and say like, "Hey, I need this thing done" or whatever, and then like leave them a voicemail, but make a jingle. And like you could layer it with, like you said, like 4 or 5 vocals on it. So just be like, "Hey, Steve, it's Tony, man, just calling you back." Be like, "Steve, it's Tony calling you back," and have like a whole bunch of background music with it. And like on GarageBand, you can do it in like literally 5 minutes. Like you sit down, put the headphones in, bunch of tracks, put the effects on it, and then save it and send it.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Keith said it's very Saturday morning. Nice. And that's kind of the thing I was going for. Not really Saturday morning, but the Schoolhouse Rock.
Like, Schoolhouse Rock, right? Yep.
Schoolhouse Rock thing.
I'm just a bill.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Yep. All those Schoolhouse Rock. Remember Brian Kirk and the Jerks? They used to, when they were the big cover band in Jersey, they used to break all that stuff out in their sets. They used to break out all those songs, and they would do them live.
I never saw them
from the Saturday morning. Oh yeah, yeah. We played with them at Mother's one time, and they had a whole spiel shtick going on with all that stuff. Very interesting.
Dan asked, "Does this page hook up cover bands with venues? I sing in a Stones cover band that's pretty damn fun." No, we don't hook you up with venues, but
there's resources that you can connect with venues, right?
Yes, if you're on the page, Dan, and you're not in the group, I would suggest you join the group and tell the group your story. Tell people what you're looking for, because there's people in the group, and there's people that follow the page as well that are club owners, that are promoters, that are managers, that are people that know those type of people. So post something in the group, Dan, say what the name of your band is, put a link to your Facebook page or your website or a video of you guys, and ask for what you want, just like Tony was saying. Dude, that story and the advice you gave from that can be applied to so much.
Absolutely. It can be applied to anything in life, Don't just, hope that you don't have a crappy day. Say, I'm going to have an best day I've had in a long time. My best days are ahead of me. I'm going to have a great day today. Set the intention and ask for what you want, but ask big, right? Like,
Ask big.
Don't ask for 1 million followers. Ask for 50 million followers.
Why not?
No, but like to your point with Dan, it's Cover Band Central is a great platform with a huge audience, so there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, but we don't specifically, like, I don't specifically say, okay, here, band A, I'm going to place you with club C.
No,
that's not I'm not in the business of doing that. I'm in the business of giving you a platform to do that yourself.
Yeah, and with the amount of traffic that you have through the site, there's huge exposure for the things that people are asking for or trying to connect with.
Right. Yeah, I have no interest in being an agent or being a promoter or any of that stuff. There's people out there that do that better than I can. So,
but Cover Band Central is a great platform to accomplish that. It's a good media outlet. Yeah,
it's a great resource. Really, it is the number one page and group on Facebook for musicians.
Yep.
There isn't. I'm a member of all of them, so there isn't one that's better. Maybe I'm a little biased, but
well, the numbers speak for themselves, Steve.
The numbers speak for themselves.
Yes, they do.
They're growing like nutso. So yeah, like, I'm asking for somebody to redesign the graphic that I did for that intro if they want to. If somebody wants to. If you watch that, because a lot of times you'll see something, or people will say, like, they'll see something and they'll be like, I could do a better job than that. Well, I'm going to say, yes, you can. You can do a better job than I did.
Please do, and submit it to me for my use.
Yes, you could do a much better job. I spent like a half hour on those. The music we spent more time on, and the music is more fun to me. But doing the graphic thing, making that little video, that's fun. But
you know what it is too, Steve? Back to Dan's point too, and your point earlier, it's like when you put yourself out there and you use the platform, and then you ask for the great things like that, and you will attract. Like, you won't need to go beating down doors and chasing people down to get a response. Like, the people will come and find you. You know what I mean? And that's the intention. Like when you say, when you ask for things, don't ask to say, oh man, I really hope that, I get a gig out of this, like, dude, I hope I feel like I'm going to get so many gigs out of this that I'm going to be able to choose which ones I want to do. And people are going to become approaching me, about doing the gigs,
Right.
It's usually how it works. At least I've seen that experience too. When you're trying your hardest to book gigs and you're exhausting and going through all these avenues, it's seldom do you get a couple of gigs out of it. You know what I mean? But when you're in the right company of people and you're playing the right places and you have the right exposure, the gigs come and find you. All of a sudden your phone is ringing. People are saying, hey, I want your band here. Or, hey, I saw you play with a band. Can you come play with my band? Or can I hire you to come, sit in with my band? Or can I
Right.
hire your band to come play a private party? I can't tell you how many times, you know, like when we were in Weisenheimer's, we would have the website and all the promotion and be on the knot and wedding venues and all the stuff. And you're pushing and getting very little gigs out of it. But yet, you could play an outdoor gig at, we used to do Smoke Rise event on 4th of July weekend on the beach, and 2 or 3 people would come up and be like, dude, I'm having a 50th birthday party next month on this date. Can you guys play? What do you charge? And
And
shortly
you
after that,
said $100,000.
yeah, we said we charge way more than you can probably afford. And the guy's like, yeah, you don't even know me. Try me. Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
And we believe, we've had, all kidding aside, we have people come up there and say, I'm having a 50th birthday party and money is no object. I want you guys to play the band. I want you guys to come and play the gig. And you think like, well, what should we charge? And then you can always ask like, well, where are you having the party at? And it's deceiving. I remember we played a party and the woman said, I'm having the party at my house. Okay. But it was $4,000 we charged her for the band, right? Because she came from a referral from somebody else. Didn't blink an eye. Great. This is what I want. I'll send you this, my preferred songs that I want. My husband's going to want this special song and I need this song played. Great. Send it on over. Then you get there. Yeah, it's at their house, but it's like catered, hand-rolled sushi, cigar bar over here with hand-rolled cigars, like, pizza trucks, like big time, And then at the end of the night, honest to God story, we're packing up, breaking down, and everyone's moving to a different part of the house to have the party's wound down now. It's down to like maybe their dozen close friends, and they're going at it and they're drinking and having a great time. And a lady comes out and she says, I wanted to give you guys a tip, and I'm really sorry, but I only have $3,900 on me in cash in the house. But I owe you guys. Thank you so much.
Right.
It was an $8,000 night. That who would have, not in our wildest dreams expected that, or would have even thought that it would have been that,
Right.
But when people go all out, like you said, if people are millionaires, 10 grand for a band, $30,000 for a birthday party to celebrate someone's 50th is like nothing,
Right.
Just go write the check, get the people here, bring the furniture in, stage everything, bring the people in. And I can't tell you how many parties we played over the years that were house parties that were definitely the people spent $20, $30, $40,000, having that party. No
Yeah,
doubt.
it's great. Chris Yoda said, "Play and sing with passion, and get those private parties." I love that. I think he
Yeah.
was repeating what you said. But yeah, absolutely. And
let
so,
people see your commitment and your passion to it, right? And that is your attractor. That's the
right.
attractor right there.
So I have a little interesting story to tie in, a lot of what we're talking about here. My first time in New Orleans long before I moved here, it was 2006, I want to say, maybe 2007, around then. First time ever in New Orleans. I just came to visit, and there was a guy that I knew that was playing at Famous Store, a guitar player, and he was somebody that I had played with in a band in Minnesota. And I've told this story before, where I went to play in a cover band in Minnesota, and he was my initial connection to New Orleans. This guy, his name was Brian. So I came to Famous Store, me and my brother, and to just see him and say hello and watch his band. And we went to Famous Store, and we stayed all night. We didn't go anywhere else. We stayed in that club all night.
Okay.
And
do you remember what band was playing?
Yeah, it was a band called Rockbox, which has evolved into different members, and I've played with many times now. But I didn't know anybody else in the band at the time that was there. I just knew this one guy, Brian. And during it, fairly early in the night, he was off stage, and I said, "Hey, man, I'd really love to come up and jam with you, and jam with you guys." And he said, "Let me ask the bass player." And the bass player in that band was relatively new, and he got the gig because I turned it down. And I turned it down because I was offered that gig because I knew Brian, and Brian told the band leader in that band about me. And I was living in Jersey at the time, and I said, I can't, I live in New Jersey. I can't just move to New Orleans and take this gig. And that was the first time I was offered that, and I was offered it a couple more times. Eventually, I came down and gave it a shot. But so this other bass player got that gig. And so he was relatively new in the band when I was visiting. And Brian asked him if I'd get up and play, and the guy said no, which I would never do. Ever, 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 ever do. I would never, if somebody wants to come up and play my bass, I will always let them.
And knowing how Bourbon Street is, that seems to be the norm.
Yes.
I think it'd be a little different at a private party, or you're performing at an event, where someone comes up, "Oh, my cousin knows how to play bass, dude. Let him get up there and do his thing." And it's like, no, sorry. No, it's not the right venue or the right situation for it, But it seems like on Bourbon Street, that's the norm, right?
Yeah. People get up and jam all the time.
Yeah.
And if you're just some Joe Schmo in a club and nobody knows you, then that's when you're coming up with a couple $100 in your hand, and you're saying, "Hey, I want to come up and play guitar." And we won't accept it just for the money. You have to really let us know that you have some sort of skill in doing something.
Sure.
And we've had that happen many times where, a drummer comes up, they give us $100 and say, he wants to come up and play, and somebody will come up and be terrible. But we're good enough. We're good enough to get through the song.
I remember a guy coming up saying, "My friend is this party, the host party, my neighbor, he wants to play drums. Can he come up and play a song?" Sure. And I remember the guy comes up, I hand him the sticks, he sits down, and he looks at me, he goes, "What do I do?"
Right.
I said, "What do you mean, what do I do?" He's like, I'm not a drummer. I don't even know how to play drums. I said, "The first thing you do is give me the sticks back."
Right. Before you break anything.
Right. Go back out front, because you're not going to be able to learn to play drums to a song in the next 35 seconds,
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's just interesting to me that the first time I was in New Orleans, I was at the very club I'm playing at now, and loving it, and being on the other side. And, I don't know that when I was there, I wished in particular to have that as a job in that very club. But I'm sure I had that feeling of the passion for playing and the love for playing, and knowing the vibe of that room and being in there. And, anytime I would go see a band, I always wish I'm on stage. So I'm sure that when I was there, I was like, man, I would love to have this job. I probably was looking around the club and telling my brother, man, someday I'm going to get this job here in this club. And
here now you have it.
Look at me now.
Look at him now.
So that's a perfect way to wrap up the Wisdom Hour.
That is the definition of wisdom right there, brother.
Yes. Coverbandcentral.com is where you go for all Cover Band Central stuff, including the archive of all of our previous podcasts.
All 136 of them.
All 136. And also, these are all streaming on YouTube now, too, and they're archived on YouTube. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for a profile on coverbandcentral.com for you, your band, or both. It is free. And anybody in the industry can sign up there and get involved and be a part of the party, even if you're just a music fan, which is a perfect thing. And Steve at coverbandcentral.com. Send me emails and tell me things. Tell me things. And all right. Oh, wait, there's
Send
another
me
comment.
emails and tell me things. I love it.
That's all I got. All right, guys. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. We'll see you next week.